what is going on today?
So, I wanted to start out today. For those that are interested, for one,
I'm interested.
Very good. That's so nice to hear, actually. So we Harry Potter news. So Warner Brothers and Pottermore and JK Rowling, they've all been making some, I guess, news today on Twitter and just in the news in general. So there's basically news that Warner Brothers is going to buy rights to The Cursed Child.
Yeah, and a lot of this is from JK Rowling, too. Like, not a lot of it, but a lot of the speculation.
Definitely. She came out and said today, and I quote, "Sometimes darkness comes from unexpected places. Hashtag Harry Potter, hashtag Cursed Child," with kind of like a weird dark mark kind of thing.
So worth noting, she's not talking about a bowel movement with darkness coming from unexpected places. She's talking about the Cursed Child.
Which is a really important thing to know,
Yeah,
actually.
that is. When it comes to J.K. Rowling, all bets are off. First everything's black and white. Then all of a sudden, Dumbledore's gay, and so are you, and everything's changed.
Yeah, literally everyone's gay now.
By the way, I know that's an insensitive meme, but that is one of my favorite memes ever.
It's a great meme.
Is J.K. Rowling reveals that you, the reader, were gay the whole time.
Yeah, dude.
Because while some authors have baked in the seeds to things in their universe, it seems like J.K. Rowling, when she wants something to change, it's like, nope, it's always been that way. And
yes.
She'll just change it.
I know.
And people get annoyed at it, and then other people get annoyed at them because they're like, well, wait a minute, why can't Dumbledore be gay? And it's like, well, that's not the point. The point is that it was never written that way. I'm just saying she's a confusing figure when it comes to all this news.
Trying to be progressive and everything, absolutely. So also, later on, I believe it was today as well, at like 3:30 today, September 5th, and we're getting this news from MuggleNet.com. I just want to make sure we preface that. They're a really good Harry Potter website. If you're a Harry Potter nerd, it's a great place to be.
You mean a Potterhead?
That's correct, yeah. But I mean, that's back from the Twilight days, and I try to get away from that, you know? It was the Twihards versus the Potterheads. Do you remember? It was a legitimate war that was happening when I was in middle school.
No, you know what intense. I was doing?
No.
I was out having sex during
Whatever, man. I wasn't.
Don't tell him I wasn't.
Whatever.
I wasn't. I was watching Star Wars.
Dang it. I believed you. So, Pottermore, which is essentially like the official Harry Potter news source, they released the audiobooks, everything. They came out and tweeted today that there is something exciting coming later on from The Cursed Child, but it's not a movie. So, essentially the news that we got today was that Warner Brothers is buying rights and buying certain things related to The Cursed Child. There was some changed artwork on the books and some other things, so they're kind of just starting to shift certain things about The Cursed Child. For me personally, what I think it could be if it's not a movie, which I think even 2 years ago there was rumors that there was going to be a Cursed Child movie because they had bought
a Cursed Child trilogy, and that's actually something that J.K. Rowling had shut down 2 years ago. But that was back in 2017,
right?
Because she had tweeted following that news. I know a lot of people are looking for reasons to be cheerful today, but there is no truth to the rumor about a Cursed Child movie trilogy, and that's the tweet that Pottermore, they quote tweeted it. And tweeted above it about, something exciting coming later from Cursed Child. So we don't really know what it is. We just know they say it's not that movie.
Right. So it's weird because, like 2 years ago, we had seen news that Warner Brothers was getting the rights to The Cursed Child as far as just like copyright stuff. They were getting some like basic foundational stuff, if I'm remembering that correctly. So for them to not be going for a movie, I mean, to be honest, it makes sense with the Fantastic Beasts movies. It'd just be like a weird thing to do, I guess, timing-wise.
Right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of what is supposed to be a 5-movie franchise.
And what some people already believe is a stretched-out 5-movie franchise.
Right. And then just like, all right, here's The Cursed Child. I feel like it'd be a lot. So I think, honestly, if they were to go towards like a media version of this, I think a TV show or like a smaller production version of this makes sense. Even if they did it between Fantastic Beasts release, I think that makes sense. For me, making a movie right now, especially a Cursed Child trilogy, which honestly, Cursed Child for me was not my favorite. I don't think it was a lot of people's favorite.
No, but you didn't hate it. There are some people that hate it, I guess.
There definitely are, and I've heard the play is fantastic. But just looking at kind of what they did with the story, there was some interesting things, but it didn't work for me. So it's fun. I'd love to see the play someday because I've heard it's fantastic. But as far as moving it into a movie, not necessary. So for me, I think it's going to be in the TV show kind of range, and I'm curious what they're going to do with that, because I'm sure you could just make like a few episodes out of it and make something fun, but I don't know exactly how they're going to move with it.
Do you think that with JK Rowling, well, I know she worked on not only Fantastic Beasts, but also Crimes of Grindelwald, obviously, and I know that's no one's favorite, it seems like, but do you think that with her working on this, could she retool some things and rewrite some things in The Cursed Child and make it align better with, the Warner Brothers Harry Potter visual version of, at least of the Harry Potter universe? Do you think that she could work on this and make it fit better with that and then have it become a good anthology of some kind? Because...
almost like an extension of the original 7 books, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because The Cursed Child is... I only know bits and pieces about it, and I don't want to say too much about it, but obviously it comes later.
Right.
In the canon, if it even is canon, and that's debated back and forth, because it's not JK Rowling. So I'm saying,
Parts of it was, she helped, but...
Yeah. Do you think she could make something out of this where it fits in that movie canon, like the visual version of Harry Potter? Maybe it's 4 or 5 episodes, a premium TV show, kind of like how you have all this money going into, I don't know, Game of Thrones. You throw money at it like that. Do you think something good could be made out of this?
Potentially. So it's, for those that haven't read it, it's set after the events of Deathly Hallows. It's pretty much everyone knows what happens in Harry Potter at the end.
Yeah, so spoiler alert.
I guess
if you
mild
don't.
Spoiler alert, but it's 19 years later, and it just kind of picks up at that point where Hermione's the Minister of Magic.
She's still hot.
Still hot. Married to Ron, and then Harry's an Auror. That's kind of what's going on. So it's 19 years later, they have their kids, and then it kind of just follows their kids after that. Sets it off on to the next generation. So I don't know if they would bring back the original cast. If they were to do something like that, I feel like it'd be hard to bring back. I think Daniel Radcliffe has said in the past that he'd be interested in potentially doing something like that, and I'm sure Rupert Grint, maybe Emma Watson. You start getting some of these people back, it could be interesting.
Well, and those are really the only 3 you need. I suppose you could work around anything else if you had to.
McGonagall's part of the story, but Maggie Smith, who plays her, she's getting older, so I don't know if it'd be something that she would really want to do. She could, but it'd be something where, I don't know, if they were to do it, and if she was to change things, I don't know, I feel like it would bother people that liked the book.
But would it? Because there's not... I was looking online at reception to this book earlier, and it seems like it's enjoyed, but even the people who really liked the book had issues.
Definitely. It's definitely... It messes with the view of the original 7, for sure. Okay. It's an extension that it does some time traveling. It does some things that shake things up. It's cool in some respects, but it also changes your view of things in other respects. So honestly, she could change things and maybe make them better, but the way that she did Fantastic Beasts 2 definitely worried the fan base, honestly, because it was like her screenplay, and it wasn't great. People just didn't really enjoy the film. Even people I went in there really wanting to love this movie and obviously was incredibly excited for it and left frustrated.
Well, and you went with your brother and your wife, didn't you? Didn't you go twice?
Yes, yeah.
Or did you only see it once?
I think just the once because I was frustrated.
And didn't both of them feel kind of the same way? And they
did.
weren't as hardcore into it?
Well, that's the thing is I do even explain some of the things that happened that were from the books or even from the original movies that were changed or that were just weird. And it was still that doesn't make sense. That's frustrating. Why? And given there's 3 more movies to fix things or adjust things, there's probably a longer term plan at play, but still, as far as her taking the reins for a Cursed Child screenplay, I guess long-winded answer, I don't know. This is just speculation. If it is a TV show, we don't know, but if it ends up being that, I hope they take their time. And if they end up making changes that make more sense for the continuity, that's great.
Well, interesting final point I have about this too is that if it's a good Broadway adaptation, plays are different than movies, but that's closer to movies than books. So if there's already some kind of visual adaptation out there that's good, it could mean good things if they decide to do another.
For sure.
We just don't know.
Could be a good template, yeah.